Yep, yep. Yep, we in here. Yep. Another day. Another day boxing talk. I gotta try to find out what what my time is when I can get on. Yeah, but I kind of like this time slot here because it doesn't interfere with anything. Yeah. Yeah, just waiting. Just waiting a little bit for the chat to build up a little bit. Yeah. LJ Fighter, I see you up in here. All right, E Wood. What's up with it? Yeah, you know how I do. Yeah, have fun with you guys. You guys are, E Wood. You guys are funny. Yeah, that's my family though. You guys, that chick, oh qua, taho, ataku yase, kwechi ikai. Yep. Yeah, you see the title, right? Or I don't know if this thing actually posts the title because using this encoder, the title's on the encoder. It says Pacquiao sit down. Or Manny PacMan sit down. Yep, sit down. It ain't your time yet. So it's welterweight talk a little bit. Got the welterweight talk. Yeah, that's that picture up there. That's Michael Moore. Yeah, I like Michael Moore. A lot of people said he's not underrated, but he's way underrated because he was fighting in heavyweight, and he probably he should have never been fighting at heavyweight. I mean, he could, but he shouldn't have been up because he gained too much weight too fast. Gained like 50 pounds in less than, I think, not even a year, something like that. 50, 60 pounds. Yeah, he should never been. He should never been up there. That's too much. Yeah. Yeah, I see you guys all the time. Let me I don't know, people gonna be upset with me with my channel. Cause it's like nothing but mods come in here. So you guys are good. You guys are mods already, so So next time you type, you should see it. You should see that that you guys are mods. We're working on 5 minutes. You know. Yeah, but Manny has to sit down because I don't think he's gonna do nothing. You know, I want to talk about the upcoming fight, Sean Porter and Errol Spence Jr. And Manny's just kind of a distraction right now. Just like all the other distractions. It's like all the fighters, all the fighters are they're just becoming distractions and stuff, right? All right, Cypress Hill, I see you. Salute to you. Yeah. Yeah, so what's happening is all of them, they just all becoming just all distractions in different weight classes. And it's like, no, but nobody's discussing this, and it seems like nobody's seeing it. How many heavyweights you got? There's nothing but distractions. AJ is a distraction. Fury's a distraction. Stupid old Dylan White is a distraction. And what you got? You got Canelo's a distraction. oh my goodness. Andre is a distraction. Pacquiao is a distraction. Wow. All these fighters is, they're not trying to, they're not trying to fight. Okay, the mic volume for the mic. Yeah, okay, let me turn that up. Yeah, it's kind of low. I'm not trying to red line it or nothing like that. Just let me know. Let me know. Let me know when it's comfortable. I don't want it to be like too loud or nothing like that. But I turned it up right now, so it should be a little bit better. Now the reason I'm not on camera is because I'm gonna probably wait until the weekend, because this program is really eating up some CPU usage and stuff. And what happens with YouTube, I got to check it, and what will happen, it will show that the health, and just like right now, my health is not good. It looks like it may the stream may cut out or something like that. What I got, 30. See, I went up to 33%, and it was nothing like this the other day. The other day when I streamed, it was perfect. It was all, we was all in the green. But today it wants to switch up. And it's like I've been having a hard time with this YouTube. I can do it like on my iPad, I'm good. And on my computer, it's just horrible. It's like I have to get another. I don't know if it's the computer itself. It wouldn't seem like it's the computer because it's a pretty fast computer, but it would seem like it's this. I don't know, YouTube. I don't know. I put out. I don't know. Maybe some of my I just got a couple of videos on this channel. My other channel, I got a few more videos and stuff. Mostly some of our native stuff, but I don't know. I don't think I'm saying something that's too abrasive. I'm not really cussing nobody out. Like some other channels, I let them. They finish. I cuss people out when I'm a mod. I might cuss somebody out. But most time, no, I don't need to. I don't need to go through all that. Yeah. But PacMan, and the rest of these distractions need to go away if they're not gonna fight. They just need to go away. Especially, the reason I'm picking on him is because I know a lot of people love him. I'm sorry. For me, he's just overhyped. He's overhyped. I mean, he's been out a couple of times. The last time he went out, when he went out severely, he was on his face, and people thought he was had actually died. Then you got his last fight, Thurman, and Thurman didn't know what to do with him. Thurman's whole game plan, because I mention this all the time, once he got hit in the body, his feet split for a split second, went square, then got hit up top, and he went down. He wasn't hurt bad. He wasn't even really. He might have been stunned, but nothing shut down. His brain didn't shut down. His nervous system was okay. But he just got up and lost what he was going to do. His whole game plan. If he actually had a game plan, besides thinking he was just going to win just on his own abilities. Yeah, that's true. It is. I'm looking at the LJ fighter. Yes, it is going to be interesting who he fights. I don't know who he's going to fight. I really don't know if I have a preference, for him to fight. I don't know if I really got a preference for him to fight. Let him pick it. Let his team, pick the fight, so we can say, okay, we can shake our heads in agreements, or we can shake our heads the other way in disagreement. And that's that's what I'm looking forward to, is just seeing who fights who. But on this subject here, Errol Spence versus Sean Porter. Now, I think this is really going to be an interesting fight, and I do not think this fight is going to go the way that people are expecting. I don't think that Errol Spence is going to impose his will in the usual manner. Okay, his usual manner. And if you look at the fighter that I have up there, Michael Moore, and that's why I fashioned, in my opinion, that's how Errol Spence fights. He fights like Michael Moore. Michael Moore, at light heavyweight, used to just beat people up. I think he won 25 fights in a row, and most of them were either knockout or TKO, or the corners retired him. The corners threw the towel in. Like, no, you that's too much. You're just beating our fighters up. Now, Errol Spence usually just beats a fighter up. But with Sean's style, in which I think Sean is going to probably try to come in a lot faster, so he can try to show off. But with his regular style, it's a little bit more difficult. So I think Earl is going to be more on the back foot, and he's going to take He's going to be a more angular fight. He's going to be more at like a 45, degrees angle at any given time when it comes to him, getting in like punching position. It's not going to stand straight in front, because it'd be easier to get a shoulder, a head, or chin or something, forced into your face that way. So that's the way I'm looking at that to go. And Sean, of course, he has options. I mean, he could, pretend like he could box like he did the last fight, which would be a disaster for him. Because I really hope that nobody told him that his style, when he fought Ugas, that style was appropriate. That was a appropriate style, because that style was just not an appropriate style, and that's why he got so many people saying that he might have lost up in there. All right, Makadon, I see you up in here. You was the first one to my first stream. That's funny, and then you didn't know I had went live, and then you and then you left on me. Yep. But I see you, family. You back up in here. Yeah, you see a lot of blue when you came in here, huh? You say, wait a minute, it's not even that big of a chat, but it's all blue in here. Yeah, guess what? You're blue too. Yep. Yep. He said, "Yep." That's all right. You didn't miss this one. Did everybody get their notifications? Did everybody get notifications, or did you just pay attention to what I said when I was in KQKC? That I said I was going on. So I don't know. He whistling like he shows up. I mean, I know everybody's waiting for me to have a time, you know. But whatever time we can get together, that's good, you know. Whatever time we can get together, you know. We still streaming, so I got all these warnings back here with what I got. Yeah, then I got a lot of frames dropping for some reason. But hopefully that even if I have frames dropping, that's why I don't. That's another reason I don't have my my video going. Is because I really be dropping some frames in. In my mouth, you would probably see words coming out of my mouth, and you'd be like, "Wait a minute, his lips only moved twice, and he said 10, 15 words." Yeah. So yeah, well, it's back up now. It looks like it's doing a little bit better now. The stream health is back in. We're back in the green now. Yeah. So that's only a good thing if we're back in the green. So. Trying to see. Okay, so all right, I'm gonna take one of them. Maybe that's what it is too. It was two. Actually, had two. It opened up another browser and stuff. So that might have been killing. That might have been killing our health and stuff too. So, but yeah, right now we're doing green. We're in the money right now. So that's all good. LJ Fighter, I saw you in KQKC chat. All right. Okay, Micah Don One, you did get the notification. All right. So two different ways. The LJ Fighter, he saw my words over in KQKC's chat, and then you got the notification. Yeah, sometimes the notifications they don't go out for some reason. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't understand it. Why they just don't go out. Yeah, but Sean, there's this picture, Sean. Let me read this real quick. Then I'll go back into it. Cypress Hill, I love Spence and have mad respect for him, but can't stand him talking about the other side or taking the easy route. Yeah, it makes him sound weak. It reminds me of how Thurman was talking about him. Yeah, but the whole thing, Cypress Hill, I'm gonna tell you, the whole thing about that, about EJ talking about the easier route. He wasn't talking about the easier fight. He was talking about the easier fight to be made. You know, that's what he was talking about. This is the easier fight to be made because don't have any reservations or ideas on the contrary of Errol Spence being afraid or not wanting to fight these fighters. Believe me, he wants all the smoke. Believe that. He wants all the smoke, and if they don't want it, he'll actually move up, and he's big enough to do it because I was listening to himself out of his mouth in an interview, and he was actually saying that he's dehydrated at 147. And he said he's dehydrated all the way up. I think he said past 154. That he's still dehydrated. See, you got to realize his very first fight, Errol Spence fought his pro debut at 152. So that means in order to make welterweight, he had to drop 5 pounds. And remember, he's younger. When you're younger, you know, you walk around, or your weight can be lower, and you're more comfortable. You got to realize he's maturing, and in the next few years he won't be able to handle that welterweight. So he'll have to move out. Okay, Macadon One got to go back. I dropped down to the bottom and look at the chat at the bottom. But yeah, don't miss out on work. Yeah. He said, yeah, man, it's a funny thing with these notifications. People have their theories, but nobody can really narrow it down. Yeah, I don't know because all chats are different, and so I don't get it sometimes. I don't get it, but it seemed like they was hating on me for a long time. I'm serious because I'm like, how come I can't get my channel up? I tried all kinds of what they call these overlay programs, these encoders and stuff. I tried so many different. You guys don't know how many times I switched back and forth. I think, matter of fact, I think it was Markdown 1 was in one. I think I had the same OBS Streamlabs. I think I had the same one, and he couldn't put up symbols. And he was like, man, I can't do nothing in your chat because because they have an automatic moderator also, and they moderate. They warn you about putting up too much capitalization or too many symbols and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know what it is. Okay, so back to Shawnee. So what will Sean do? So that's what we gotta look. Is he gonna play? Is he gonna play football, boxing, or just what does him and Kenny Porter have up their sleeve? And I think the main thing what Sean is gonna do, I think he's gonna try to outwork Spence with speed work. I think he's gonna try to get inside. He usually tries to like rush, and I think he's probably gonna throw like stuff that Earl's never seen before. Well, Earl's probably seen it, but he's gonna be probably be a little bit wild, but at the same time he's gonna be try to be controlled. He's gonna get wild at times, and then he's gonna try to be controlled. He's gonna get wild to get inside, and then get controlled, and once he gets in there. But I see Earl like using more angles on him, and just keeping him from being able to even get into the inside, and just outboxing him. When I'm saying outboxing, I'm thinking he's gonna have like a good jab to really keep him off balance, and then set up his combinations a lot better than he's done before. And another thing, I think Earl's actually going to be more comfortable. He's going to be more comfortable in there this time. I mean, not really comparing to Mikey, or anybody else, but I think he's because he's been the champ for a while now, and with the rules being set the way that they are right now, that they don't have that rehydration clause, is not going to be in effect because of the two belts and the IBF, and they have to more or less match up on most of the rulings and stuff. And so what I see him coming in, at a comfortable weight. I mean, he may not even come in at like 160. He may come in at like maybe 163 to 167, somewhere around there. He may come in there. He may come in just to be comfortable enough. He'll come in just to be comfortable. Not to be too big and be sluggish because of all that water weight. But just come in, just at a nice comfortable weight to where he's not dehydrated. Yeah, LJ Fighter, would you say Sean's strategy is to outwork him, dictate a high tempo from the beginning to try to wear him? Yeah, that's true. But Spence, the thing about Spence is he's real durable, and also his stamina is off the chart. He gets stronger. Because I've been backtracking and watching some of his older fights, and you see that, wow, he puts it in. You know what I mean? He puts in some work. He gets like stronger and stronger and stronger. And a lot of fighters pretend like he doesn't hit that hard or whatever, or they try to, they're boxers, okay? They're professional. They try to They try to soak it up. And once they come in, they try to soak it up. I see you, Joseph Brown. Salute, man. Yeah, and after a while they just fold. If you remember was it Van Eerden fight? He was sticking his Van Eerden was shaking his waist, sticking his tongue out, pretending like, the body shots wasn't hurting him. And then Earl caught him. I think it was like in about the 6th round. He caught him with a body shot, and and Van Eerden he couldn't do nothing but drop. After pretending, he did all that pretending, but all that pretending stuff doesn't always work. Tyson Fury get away with a lot of that pretending, like I'm pretend like I'm not hurt and all that, and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Yeah, look how big you are, man. You're a big guy, and you can box. You can't punch. You got cotton fists. But Earl, I just see him. I see him coming in a lot stronger than what we've seen him. I don't even have my ticket. I better hurry up and get my ticket. Yes, I'll be sitting way up at the ceilings. I'll be looking parallel to the lights up there or something. If I don't hurry up and get my ticket. So you say LJ fighter. Yeah, jab his way in, push, smother him, elbow him, whatever. And then he can do it. To say run him around the ring. Yeah. Well, that's yeah. A rough fight for Sean. Like if you rough Sean up, just don't play football with him. See. Yeah. Just don't play football with him. That's the whole thing. Don't play football with Sean. Play another rough sport with Sean. See. While he's playing football. What's that other sport? Just like football. Is it rugby? Yeah, rugby. So, don't play football with him. Play rugby with him. You know what I mean? The rugby, they run. They really put out some energy in that rugby. So yeah, I say play a combination of rugby and another sport with him. But don't let him, And the thing is, I don't think Earl will let him dictate, because Earl doesn't let you dictate too long anyway. If you start trying to dictate, Earl, he won't let you. Yeah. Yeah, he'll stop you from dictating the fight, and he'll just take over. Yeah. Yeah, you say Earl's looking to make an example out of Porter. I think so. I think he wants to show us. He wants to show not just us. I mean, mostly the people that keep putting all this doubt out there, because Earl Spence is more. He's like a Wilder. He's like a Wilder type of fighter. He don't have that same kind of crack, and he doesn't work the same way that Wilder does. But his mindset is the same way. It's like, because Wilder has this little saying, I just quote this saying, what he say? He says, speak it and believe it, something like that, to that effect. And if you speak it and if you think it, you speak it and you believe it, then it comes. And I think that his words are truthful as a boxer. I think his words are truthful when it comes to boxing. I think his words are truthful of what he really believes in his abilities. Whereas a lot of fighters is just fronting. Just like we keep talking about Fury. Fury's fronting. Because Fury don't have that kind of power. Yeah. Let me read what Joseph say again. Porter matters is working. Yeah. And Earl is the general in the ring. He takes the lead and gives his opponent no hope of thinking they're gaining momentum. Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of fighter he is. That's how Michael Moore was. Yeah. That's the kind of fighter that EJ is. Is that he takes over from the bell. And you may have some moments in there, but he just takes over from the bell. And if you do, and you have too good of a moment, then he'll put the pressure up. That pressure goes way up. He's not gonna keep. He's not a low pressure fighter. He's a heavy pressure fighter. But he'll just beat you up. If you let him fight at the pace that he wants to beat you up at, he'll just beat you up at that pace. But if you cause him to do something else, then he'll just beat you up at another pace. And so that's what I mean. I see that with Sean is like, how am I going to stop him from beating me up at his pace, or how I'm going to change the pace? So that's a good point. So what Sean can do is try to disrupt. He has to disrupt Earl's jab. He has to be able to time it. I don't know if he just knocks the jab down, time it to where he knows the jab is coming out, go under it, and then step in and fire off a couple of body shots, and just keep working off of that type of strategy. But he has to do something to disrupt what Earl is doing. Because if he doesn't disrupt what Earl is doing, then he's gonna turn into mush. And I think this is what I really feel that Kenny Porter will have to stop it. Because Sean is a warrior, though. We're not saying he's a bum or nothing like that. We're just saying that skill set for skill set, style for style, that if you're looking at this fight, then you're looking at the style that should be the winning style should be Earl Spence Jr.'s style. Unless he comes in with something else that just doesn't work for him. But I don't really see that happening. I mean, anything is possible in boxing. But I just don't see that happening. And Sean, I can see him just being like trying to war it out. You know what I mean? Like this crowding and just not letting Earl have that space. But even though he does it, I could just see Earl going, at different angles and stuff and just creating space. Like, I'm going to get this space. And so that's what I'm really seeing. Is that Earl goes and gets his space and dictates the pace like he normally does. Yeah, you got so many people that are praising. They really high up on Sean. There's a lot of people high up on Sean. People talk bad about Sean, and because of his numbers and stuff. They saying he can't. He can't sell out a family dinner or something like that, and there's all kinds of narratives against Sean. I'm not against fighters. You know what I mean? None of them, even the ones that I have to talk bad about sometimes. I'm not really against any of them. But we have to be able to, as fans or people that or anybody who was ever in boxing, we have to be able to, determine in our mind. We have to be able to make our mind up who has the best possibility of winning something. And that's what, any sport. When you lose that complete ability to where you don't know what's going to happen, man, that really starts to diminish the sport itself. And if we think, now I got to mention this name. I don't really like to mention it that much, but we got to mention this name here. So if there were a lot more boxers that fought like AB, then we would really be in trouble. We would really be in trouble if there was a lot more, boxers that fought like AB. Because we're always looking to, like, who is this fighting right now? Because we don't know what, we don't know which AB is going to show up. And I wonder if there was a lot of other fighters like that, to where we just didn't know who's going to show up. I'm not saying, we have had some fighters that have played the AB card. That's what I'm going to start calling them. I'm going to say, why you playing the AB card? You ain't trying to come in and fight. You was just collecting paychecks. And just the opposite, It was Kalnaki and Areola, right? They came in and was throwing hands. What do you say, Joseph? Oh, Arrow like the Marvel character Juggernaut. You can't stop his forward momentum. Porter will have to hurt Spence with something in order to force Spence off his game. But what is Sean going to do to win? That's the question. That's what we're trying to discuss right here. Is what is Sean going to do, and what is Earl going to do? You said I have yet to hear from Sean Porter's supporters how he's going to win this fight. What's the blueprint? Yeah, that's true. They're not saying what the blueprint is. All they're saying, see, that's the whole thing. Is we don't have the kind of fans that we used to have, like the real boxing fans. Now we got fans that are they're fans of just the fighter. Like, oh, I like him. Oh, that's a good fighter. And they don't know what they can't determine a jab, from a lead or anything like that. They can't, or a hook. All they know is, oh, my fighter's in there throwing punches. Yep. That's all they know. I like him. He's in there throwing punches. He wins a lot of fights. I don't know anything about boxing, but all I know is I like the way he goes in there and just throws punches and he wins. I don't know how he won, but that's my person. That's the person I'm gonna mess with. And which is crazy, because you're not looking at any kind of game plan. I mean, afterwards or while you're watching the fight, you can't analyze the game plan or nothing. But the last fight that Sean had, everybody could see what his game plan was. I mean, he didn't even hide it from the start. You could see what his game plan was, and it just is his ability to adapt to the style that he was using just didn't look. It just didn't look good. Yep, just didn't. Yep. What you call? We some of the DK Sab, huh? 6 Sab. Yep. AB said that he's moving to 140 to be. Oh, okay, so he wants all the smoke with Regis, Ramirez. He wants both the fights. Well, that's one thing. One thing that we don't do is we can't. Even when we could talk about AB, the person. When we talk about AB, we could talk about AB as the person that the fighter. Because AB, the person, always shows up. That mouthpiece always shows up. But when it comes to AB, the fighter, and then we don't know who's going to show up. You know what I mean? Because it's like, wow, it don't look like the same AB. I like the talker AB because he's like, wow, he's really going to do this. And then he gets in there, and it's like, wow, either he's really, I don't know. I don't really want to say this, but either he's really just really delusional about his skills at any particular fight, because he always feels like he won. And most fighters that lose and know they lost, they'll say, "Oh, he was a better man today. I went in with a certain game plan and it didn't work." But he'll go in and he'll still think he won. And it's just so many people that will say that he didn't win. But he'll sit there and really believe that he won. He'll get like he's actually mad. I'm like, you can't be mad when you don't have any activity. You know what I mean? Because they break it down when it comes to like scoring rounds and stuff like that, or scoring a fight period. They have like the ring generalship. You know what I mean? And then effective. If you're aggressive, then it has to be effective. You can't just be throwing punches and not landing nothing. And then they base off defense and things like that. But if you're just sitting there in a defensive posture, a lot of times like you might get a defensive round. You might win a round on just defense. But I just don't feel that a judge is going to give you 10 rounds or 12 rounds on just your defense alone, because that's not really a fight right there. That's somebody going against like a punching bag or something like that. You said we see how Spence can win, we can break it down. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, AB is too defensive and he's not that great at counter punching. And as a defensive fighter, you have to be a great counter puncher to be effective with that style. That's right. I agree with that. You do have to be a good counter puncher. Well, see, the thing is, Joseph Brown, is with his counter punching, he's not really bad at counter punching, but it's just how much and how many times he actually counter punches when he's in a counter punching position. A lot of times he just won't. Like, I've seen him counter punch people pretty good. I'm like, oh, that's a good counter. But he might have 2 or 3 other counters that he could have thrown, but he's just throwing one, and which he feels like, okay, I blocked these shots, okay, and that's the key right there. We go, and he's acting like MTM because MTM had that counter pull right. He had that, and it would land. But you could actually see the punches that were being blocked. With AB, you can't see all the punches that are being blocked, and then more of them are landing. So his one big shot, it's not going to count. It's going to be a tough fight, though. The way Porter fought Ugas was confusing, and it doesn't really give us a barometer of how a Spence fight will go. He'll be in tip-top shape, though. Oh, yeah, Sean always in tip-top shape. He's going to be in tip-top shape. But this coming in shape, but what that has nothing to do with your mindset, your mental capacity when it comes to fighting, because it's more mental than it is physical. So he's going to come in, physically strong and all that. Oh, I'm great, but how does your mind feel about your body strength and all that? And that's what it is. Can you really put yourself on that level to where I'm gonna hurt somebody tonight? Or are you just saying, well, I'm going in there to win. I don't know how I'm gonna win, but I'm going in there to win, but I don't know how. You see? You got to go in there with that mindset. Yeah, well, I'm winning by any means, by knockout, by some kind of stoppage, by towel coming in, by cuts, by decision. I'm going in there to do what I got to do. I'm coming out with the W. I'm gonna make all the adjustments I need to make in order to get the W. Now, if that's not in his vocabulary, in his conversations with people, when he talks about the fight, then he doesn't have that confidence that he needs to win the fight. And to be honest, I haven't heard that. All I'm hearing is that he's being overlooked, even by him. That I'm going to dominate. I mean, I was reading that. I'm going to dominate Earl or whatever. I'm going to show him, about who's the truth and things of that nature. But, well, how are you doing this? Let us know. So, because some of us might have to change our decision. Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe Sean's going to get Earl. We look at it like that. Sean's going to get him. But he's not, he's just not making people believe. I mean, we know it's going to be exciting, but he's just not making us believe. Now, if it went the opposite way, then that would be great if it went the opposite way. But But we have to at least believe that. I see you stepping up in here, Sir Flame. Salute. He says salute, fam. And he says salute to the chat as well. Yeah. 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 Well, Shine got to be, you know what I'm saying? He got to be more, you know what I'm saying? He just has to be more convincing. I mean, there's things not to like about Sean, but they're petty things, to be honest. A lot of people don't like that he's smiling. They don't like his teeth. They don't like a lot of things about him. He's a fighter. He's a warrior. Okay, he's in there, risking his life and stuff. For a bag, of course. First of all, prize fighting, and then of course to entertain the people. The people put the money in their pocket, but to entertain and to put on a show. But even with that being said, Sean, you got to show us something, or you got to convince us, so we'll be more on your side. We'll be like, oh, it's a 50-50. Which is ridiculous. People even say certain fights are 50-50. It's like, why are you putting the fight 50-50? The fight is only 50-50 if you got the same fighter on each side of the ring. The blue corner, you got the one guy, and you got his twin over in the other corner, and they fight. They fight exactly the same. That's how you get a 50-50. I never understood a 50-50. That means you can't make that means somebody didn't sell the fight to you. They didn't. In other words, the boxers were not, convincing about who was going to win. Joseph Brown, he admires his work, doesn't follow up his counters. He said art thrown up with purpose, like when Marquez would throw counter punch. It was thrown to change the momentum of the fight, and with bad intentions. Yeah, you definitely have to throw those punches. You definitely got to throw those punches with bad intentions. You can't just go out there and just feel around and throwing these little poking jabs and stuff. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work against a boxing killer. That kind of stuff don't work. So just like if you talk about Tevin Farmer, he moves all over the place. He got decent combination, decent punches. But you always got to realize these guys with these feather hands, feather fisted cotton punches. It's not necessarily gonna be a style that beats them. A style that can beat them, because it's gonna be a style that they should actually beat. That's gonna beat them. And what's gonna happen is one of those little feather punches is gonna get timed, and they're gonna get cracked. And they don't have that fail-safe chin. Yep. Sir Flame. Let me read it out. I think if Porter fight in his football ways, it would be a good fight. Regardless, Porter is not a easy fight for no one. All right. I respect everybody's opinion on that. I respect your opinion. And I don't think that's our narrative right now, is how easy the fight's going to be. But I think the narrative is that Sean is not convincing, well, for me, he's not convincing me that he's going to have a game plan enough to deal with Earl. Because you got to realize they have sparred before. And so Earl has probably seen Sean's developments. And maybe he sees that Sean's development since sparring or just following Sean it's not impressing him. It's like, well, you might do this now, but that's not impressing me, because I already see a way that I could beat that. Just like if you listen to Deontay Wilder when he talks about fighters and he talks about fights. Now he'll point out good stuff. He'll say how good the fight was and stuff, but then he always says that he sees some things that they do more or less that he can capitalize on if he's talking about heavyweights. See, and I'm yet to hear that from Sean. Now, some fighters can come out and tell you that they're gonna beat you up, but some fighters have to convince you that they can beat a guy up. Because if you're watching a fighter always beat somebody up, then he don't have to tell you how he's gonna beat somebody up, if that makes sense to you. But if you got a fighter that, he's just barely making it by or whatever, and then he's talking about beating somebody up, then it's like, well, I don't know, you gotta let me know. I gotta, be inside your head or something. Or I gotta see what you're talking about. I don't see it. I mess with you, but I can't see it. And that's what we want. We want to be able to, so that way we can give a 60-40, 70-30. Yeah. Joseph Brown. Yeah. You never thought a fight could go either way going in. Yep. That's on the LJ Fighter and Joseph Brown. Sean Porter fights style that brings action to a fight. If he was more accurate with his punches, he would be undefeated. I believe Sean's a warrior. I give him respect. He comes to fight in the ring. Yeah, I agree with you. He comes to fight. That's the whole thing. Is nobody saying it's just like a complete wash. It's not going to be like a 2-round fight. I mean, if it is a 1 or 2 round fight, that'd be like totally unexpected. On it, either way, on Sean's side or on Earl's side, that's going to be unexpected. If we see a fight like that, that'd be crazy. But I look to see something. Look forward to seeing something that I've never seen out of Spence. That's for sure. Sir Flame, you say you still got Spence in that fight though. So if you put numbers on, what kind of numbers are you giving it? Are you giving it like 60-40, 65-35? I really don't do numbers like that, but that's how people talk now. So, all right, E Wood, I dropped down to the bottom. I see what you're saying. You said you still in here, but you at work, but you listening. Yep. Much respect to you. Yep. So I don't like to put the numbers. Like a lot of people put the numbers on there, but I don't like to put like a bunch of numbers out there. You know what I mean? Like 70%, 30%. Now, what percentage you gonna give them? Because I don't know. I don't know if I look at it in a percentage style. I could put like my favorite. I mean, I could favor them, and then I can give reasons why I favor them. That sounds better to me, to give reasons why you favor somebody rather than put stuff in a percentage, because you can't. It's hard to see a percentage. Even if you use your mind, you close your eyes, whatever. Can you see a percentage? I can't really see it. It's a percentage is something that you have to be able to like put out there. Like it has to be right in front of you. You know, like a percentage of money or something like that. You know, you and your boy splitting. Y'all got $10,000 and you're splitting it. You know, I can see my stack, and I can see his stack. I mean, I trust him, he trusts me. But I'm still going to put those stacks together, you know what I mean, to make sure one ain't higher than the other one. Like, okay, it look even to me. All right. If you got me, you might have got me for a 20 or something like that. But I'm looking at my stack. And that's where I can look at percentages. But I don't really look at percentages like that. What I do is I favor somebody. Like I favor, because so let's put the favor, let's put that what we favor to the test. Okay, so we talk about, you know, well, I'm not going to get into the ring IQ. I talked about that in one of my other videos. And I talked about about how you can actually see ring IQ. But let's just go footwork. Who has the best footwork? We'll name off a few of them. Just give yourself a check. Just You give a check, X, or 1, or whatever you want to do, a 1, 2, whatever you want to do it. So, footwork. Who has the best footwork? Okay, so let's go to another one. So, footwork. Who can fight off, since we're on footwork right now, whose front foot, which I never hear people talk about that much, who has the best front foot? And then who has the best back foot? Okay. Who has the best balance? So that's 4 things already. So how many checks does Sean have? And how many checks does Errol Spence have? Okay, let's go a little bit further up. Who has a tighter boxing stance? That's number 5. A tighter boxing stance. Number 5. Number 6. Who has the best jab? And who utilizes that jab best? Even if they have the best jab, don't mean they utilize it best. So that's kind of like 2. But we'll go 7 with that. Who has the best counter punching between those 2? You know what I mean? Who has the best combination and the best combination output? Who keeps who's puts on, correct pressure? Or let's say effective when they're aggressive towards you. Who's more effective? As far as boxing, I'm not talking about effective wrestling. And I'm not biased. I'm not really going against Sean like that. But when you bring all those things together, like whose defense, who has the best, who can pull out of the range better, who can duck underneath punches better, who can knock punches down better. That's all your defense. Who can make you miss better, those type of things. So that's probably like about 12 things. So when you add all those things, look at Joseph Brown. You just blowing up my chat. Look at you. Joseph Brown, something else. So when you put all those things together, and then also they both got so we'll give them even. We'll probably be a little bit even when we talk about heart and warriorism, but even though those two are even, but then you got to take one more step. Killer instinct. So I'm gonna have Earl's gonna be 3-2 on that. But Joseph he just blew up the chat. Every time I say something, he puts Spence. Okay, so 95% Spence wins. There's just too many ways to victory for Spence. I can't find one for Porter. If someone close to Porter can break down how he wins, I'm all ears. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, if they right. I mean, if you can break it down. I think when people say 50, this is a 50-50 fight, they mean that both fighters have a chance to win if they can get the fight going the way that favors their skill set and talents better. Yeah, I don't even know why people say 50-50. That could be true on why they're saying is why they're saying 50-50. Okay, now here's another question then. If somebody can see it being 50-50 with what you just said, and somebody sees the fight going 50-50, how many fights have you seen Sean in where his style just took over the complete fight? Was it a lot of fights, or was it just a few fights? Was it half his fights? 20% of his fights, 30% of his fights? And then with Earl, how many people has he fought where his style just took over the fight? I think you're going to give, we're not, now this is not a crap on Sean. This is more of if my title was against Pacquiao, it's like PacMan, sit down. Because we got fighters that's going to fight right now. So sit your ass down. Nobody want to hear from you. You know what I mean? So Pac, just sit down. So, so we're not really crapping on Sean. It's just that what we're doing is we're actually breaking down the styles or their attributes. We're breaking down their attributes. So we break down the attributes and then we put it back into their style. And LJ Fighter, you put even. I don't know why you put even over there. Maybe that was the first thing I said. Joseph Brown said Spence for number one. We talking about footwork, and we talking about first three was foot. Had to deal with the feet. He's like Spence. Spence had a better jab. Okay, then he went Spence again. All right, E Wood, are you back in now? Or maybe he left. He didn't say peace. Honor and respect to you and yours. Yep. So Joseph Brown, you got Spence 12. Out of all of them, you got 12-0. And then the LJ Fighter, what happened to your one or two that you was gonna give to Sean? You put 12-0 too? You didn't have nothing for Sean? Come on now. We ain't crapping on Sean. We'll give him a couple, right? I gave him even a couple when we was talking about the being a warrior and the mindset to do it, but not the killer instinct. That still came out 3-2. But at least Sean got something. You guys didn't give Sean nothing. But you see, but you see this. Why? He said people, if they see this, may say this. They think I'm biased for Spence. I'm just trying to be as fair as possible. Spence checks all the boxes in this matchup, and I'm not going to disagree with that. I see Spence checking out way more boxes than Sean. I just don't see Sean with very many boxes checked off. LJ Fighter, you said it's even for the footwork. Nah, I can't agree with that one though. I respect your opinion, but I can't really agree with that. You say the vast majority, he's only lost 2 fights. Spence hasn't lost any. Okay. So the fights that he won is what you're saying, that he's overwhelmingly won with his mauling, brawling style? Or let me ask you, were any of those fights even close? Yeah, LJ Friday, he loves Sean. That's good though. Got to have somebody that loves Sean. I'm not against Sean though, LJ Fighter. Said that even on the footwork, you think the defense is about even. Pretty balanced as well. Then how'd you come up with a 12-0? Oh, are you just laughing about Joseph Brown saying 12-0? Well, he called it the way that he called it the way that he saw it. You said the defense is about even though. Let me ask you something. Has Sean ever been cut up? Has Earl ever been all cut up? And when I say cut up, I think that has something to do with defense. So, I don't know if you want to reassess that, but you may not want to reassess it. But just think that I got Spence. I'm like Joseph Brown. I got Spence 12-0, and then on the mentality side, I got him 3-2. So if we're gonna work with that, then 12-0 skill set and 3-2 on mindset. Being the spirit to want to do this, then for the mind to be made up that I'm gonna go do this, and then the warrior being number 2, and number 3 being like that, just straight up, I'm gonna hurt you up bad. I got that 3-2. So even Spence's edges on everything. Now, if I'm wrong about the 3-2, then if we flipped that and gave Sean 3 and Earl 2, then that's where my percentage would go to like Sean, where I could see that okay, Sean can win this on the heart, but you gotta look at that as how realistic is that gonna be? Yeah, and see Joseph Brown, he bringing up the CompuBox facts and stuff. He's saying that Spence by CompuBox is the least hit fighter in the division, and that's the fact over Bud or over everybody. And yes, Porter may be Spencer's. He might be the toughest fight. Okay, LJ, let me see what you're saying. I just don't want the narrative created that this would be a runaway. People are expecting Spence to dominate, and I'm telling you that would be an impressive feat. He'll deserve big props if he does. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. That the LJ fighter. We're in this chat. We're not crapping on Sean like that. But we're just putting out, because I asked everybody in the chat, and you included. And so everybody in the chat, when I was going over the checklist of skills, and I could have covered even more. But 12-0, how much more do I have to cover? Because there's like infight, there's all kinds of stuff. Infighting, there's somebody who fights out of the corner better, who fights up against the rope, who fights fights in the middle of the ring better. So we got in the pocket on the outside. We got all kinds of stuff. All you're gonna do is just add more. Sean might get a couple, but to be honest, it's gonna end up being something like, once I name all that stuff off, it's gonna be like 17-2. And then what is that if you try to put that into a percentage? Because people like to use that percentage thing. Then what do you have? What do you got then? Yeah. The LJ Fighter said we just cooking. This is what I like. Yeah, it's because this is the Eagles Way of Boxing is, this is my secondary channel. It should be my primary channel. But I'm just starting off, and I appreciate everybody who comes in and and want to dialogue about it and just talk about it, because see, right now I'm at the point I'm not big. If I grow to be big, then of course those wrenches have to be put to use, because I'm gonna probably generate as much hate as anybody else. And like I said, I try to keep my stuff, like if I'm a mod, then that's when I do my work as a mod. And then if I'm a host, then I try to do my work as a host. I'm not trying to see people come in and say rude stuff or say something that's out of pocket. I'm just looking for my chat to just run, just my chat to run, nice and smooth, and for everybody to get their points across. I respect everybody's points, because everybody follows boxing to a certain degree, or knows about boxing to a certain degree also. I mean, everybody hasn't necessarily been in the ring or nothing like that. They don't know what it's like to go home all bruised up or something like that. Looking at your, underneath your arm, see you got your ribs all bruised up from, and all you was doing, and you was sparring or whatever, or you got ringing in your head, for a couple of days or whatever. And a lot of people, just have never experienced that, so they think boxing is one way, but they don't understand, because they've never laced up gloves. I mean, and they've never hit so hard to where they couldn't even open up their hand. So, I mean, where you sitting there, you finished all your workout or whatever, and then you finish up on the heavy bag, you go to take your wraps off and your gloves, and your hands don't open up. Now that's hard work. And I never really even hear people even talk about that. You open your hand up and you hear it crunching, like, wow. It's like, and that's just your ligaments, and your hands getting harder as it's building up, so it doesn't even open up and stuff. That's another topic. That's my That's gonna be on my main videos about that. Yeah. You said so. Well, we are all corner, so they're well seasoned. Yeah, yeah. You guys definitely gonna be corners in here. Definitely gonna be corners in here for sure. The main ones, really. My main corners, cause the ones that show up. Makadam One shows up all the time. E. Woodson is always. I mean, he looks forward to me. Having a live. Because I think he's been in most of my lives. You know, I've only done a few. Matter of fact, I think he's even went to my native channel when I traveled to outside the Tenderloin in San Francisco. And all those people over there is nuts over there. Yeah, he came through. He comes through. Yeah, people that mess with me, I mess with you. You mess with me, I mess with you. You don't mess with me, and I don't mess with you. You know what I mean? I don't have no problem to just cut you loose. I'm not gonna be mad at you, but I'm like, you know what? He just ain't the type. I'm just ain't gonna mess with him. He ain't messing with me like that, And he let his mouth, or he gets a little too loose because I don't like people to, I don't like people slick. I don't like slick people. Like slick talking and all that. I don't need that. I don't need nobody to try to slick talk me and all that. I've been through, all of us been through, things in our life and stuff. We don't need all that, having somebody, call. I've been, I don't even tell stories. A lot of people like to tell stories, but yeah, I'm hip to all that, the gangster talk and all that, because yeah, I've been underground, so yeah, so I know all that. Yeah, the LJ fighter. You say, yep, your wrist hurts to this day from fighting and training years ago. Yep. Yep. Eagle wear, we rock with heavy. All right, Joseph. I see you. Yeah, you're right. The LJ fighter. Yeah, you take that stuff with you. As a matter of fact, people don't even appreciate. I'm gonna tell you this right now. What people don't appreciate fighters in the first place is that no matter if a fighter is 0-5 as a professional, a lot of people just like kind of crap on their record. Okay, which they shouldn't crap on their record. I mean, it sounds horrible, but because that's only 5 fights, and who knows who trained that fighter for that 0-5? He might have been great as an amateur, and he still might be fighting that style. And he's not fighting. His punches aren't heavy enough, and he's just throwing with he's throwing with the glove, and he's landing above the waist, everything, and and it's no body shots and no real heavy shots or nothing like that. He's just throwing volume punches, but he's not getting it done. But I'll tell you one thing about fighters is that just to make it out of a gym to become a good amateur, or even a good amateur, or not even a good amateur. Sometimes in a gym, depends on what the gym's like, you could take a lifelong worth of beatings before you even have your first amateur fight. They might just, I don't know how a lot of these gyms work. They might just throw you to the wolves. So a lot of fighters, they may not even have that many amateur fights, but they could be already like more or less damaged goods. And a lot of people don't see that. All they worry about what your record was as an amateur, and now that you're in the pros, they worry about that record. But who knows what was done to you for you to get that record? You know what I mean? You might have a soft spot in your head that nobody never touches. You might go 30-0, and then somebody touched that soft spot, and that's over with. There goes your career, and there go your lights out. See? And we got a heavyweight champion right now. He's putting soft spots on everybody's head. Yeah, he's giving everybody a soft spot. He's cracking parts of the head and making you have a soft spot, even if you don't want to have a soft spot. Yep. E. Woodson. Okay, you talking to the LJ fighter. Yeah. But yeah, well, much respect to the boxers out there that's going to get that money the way that they have to, and really for the ones that's really getting the money and not thinking about it just being a bag grab or money grab, and the ones that's actually, you know, doing it for us too. You know, that actually like realizing that we're the supporters. You know, so a big shout out to them. No matter what their record might be, as long if they're really entertaining. Because I've seen fighters with losing records that were really entertaining fighters. And a lot of times you see them, and sometimes they was actually getting cheated out of fights. Like people talk about Augustus with his crazy style. Yeah, he probably got cheated out of a bunch of fights because they didn't like his style. But it takes some doing to have a style like that, to be able to throw punches off off of different angles and stuff the way he does, and he's dancing and stepping past your jab and your punches and throwing uppercuts. You know, you say Joseph Brown said great points at the Eagle Boxing. Yep, Eagle. Well, Bernard Hopkins, Marvin Hagler all lost their first professional fights. Hagler lost his first 3 fights, and they're both all-time greats. Yeah, and Hagler is just like he's not only all-time great. You're straight up. He's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, and I love Hagler's attitude when it comes to boxing. He had a couple of fights that was kind of lackluster, and I think that's because he wasn't as mad at the fighter. Like when he fought Roberto Duran, he was kind of lackluster. Whereas Tommy Hearns starched him, just knocked Roberto Duran cold out. But Marvin Hagler, yeah, he's one of my favorite boxers because he'd throw hands. He didn't play around. He had those nice crisp punches too, short, just to the point. And he was another type of fighter, kind of like Earl Spence, that just beat you up. And if you could take a beating, then he'll just beat you up. Okay, well, you can take a beating, then you're going to get beat up. Or if you can't take a beating, then I'm going to knock you out. Yeah. You like a man, your Gus is the drunken master, yep. He's one of your favorite. He gave Floyd Mayweather fits. Yeah, you're right. He definitely gave Floyd Mayweather some fits. Most definitely. That style, I love that style. It's different. See, people don't understand, like when they talk about the science and the art, they don't understand that all fighters ain't gonna fight traditionally or like a traditional way of fighting. And they don't understand that boxing, that's you have basics. You got to incorporate your own style with it. You know what I mean? That's why they say styles make fights. Because prototypes couldn't make fights. Then all fights would be 50-50. And yes, we can give an edge to somebody with punching power. Then it'd be 55-45 or something like that. Or 51-49. Because if everybody was just a prototype, then boxing would be boring too if everybody was just a prototype of a standard style of boxing, with the jab coming out one way, not coming out another way, then be boring. Be boring as hell. And then also it wouldn't have the money. It wouldn't have the money that it has now. It wouldn't be the money. No, I don't even think it probably wouldn't last if it was like that. But yeah, you learn the basics, but then you got to incorporate your own way. That's why your trainer watches you and say, okay, I like that. I like what he's doing with that jab, or his hook, or whatever you're doing. That's great that they can see. Or they'll look at you and they'll just correct you and go back to the basics. See, and that's why we end up with these fighters that don't have the basic skills. It seems like they don't have the basic skills to fight on the professional level, and we're like, no, like everybody talks bad about AJ. Because like he needs to just revamp his whole skill set. He needs to just flush all the stuff he has away, and just upload some more, a whole different set of, whole different skill set. That's probably not going. That's probably not going to happen. It could. He's a professional, just like I say. Professionals are supposed to be able to learn. If you're a professional, you should be able to learn. I don't care how many camps. One camp. It don't take but one camp. But like I said, since he don't have that kind of skill set, like I would turn him into a kind of a George Foreman type of fighter. Because it's easy for big guys to push you off. I have them pushing people off. I say this probably. I probably said this on 3 or 4 streams. I said, yeah, push them off, 2 or 3 piece. They come back in, just repeat that over and over again. After a while, they'll stay on the outside and they'd rather eat your jab than be eating them 3 pieces all day. But yeah, with him, it's his skill set. He's not the slowest. So it's his skill set, but mostly that his mental makeup. That last part, that killer instinct, and that warrior. Actually, all 3. He's missing all 3 of them, really. He's missing that attitude to want to go fight. He's missing that warrior attitude, that the warrior part. It's all like he's like front, and then that killer instinct. I'm not saying he don't have knockouts or he haven't knocked anybody out, but you don't necessarily have to have a killer instinct to knock somebody out when you got them hurt. Killer instinct is more like, I'm going in for the kill before you get hurt. I'm not saying, no, he's not a good finisher. Yeah, he's good. You can finish somebody, but you're finishing somebody, but do you have a killer instinct to where you're going in and I'm trying to hurt you, from the start. You know what I mean? And that's what I want to see. Are you going to hurt somebody from the start? Are you going to make the crowd excited from the start? Yeah. But with this one, yeah, we came up with all those numbers for Spence. So we got Spence edging. I'm gonna go ahead and add the other stuff that I said, and so we'll maybe give it. We'll give it a 18. We'll give it a 18-2. So, and we'll just use that. I don't know. It sounds bad though. I don't want to use it. I'm not gonna use it. I was gonna use it for odds, but no. We'll just leave it as the numbers. Boxing skill numbers we got. We'll just take. I'm gonna take Errol Spence 18-2. So not like a odds, but I'm gonna just take Errol 18-2. But I think it's gonna be an interesting fight. I think it's gonna be a good fight. Even with that being 18-2, I think it's gonna be a good fight. I think we're in for, finally a treat when it comes to boxing. We finally need a good one at a lower weight. Because the last fight that was good. The Arreola Kanaki fight, that was a pretty good fight. But they were kind of standing straight up throwing punches too. Kanaki really was standing straight up throwing punches. No, not enough body and head movement, and not enough even waist movement and feet. Just not good. Yeah. Joseph Brown said those are all crucial attributes to make or break a fighter. He said AJ may never regain the heavyweight title because of the lack of his these attributes. Yeah, these attributes. And that's my whole thinking process also, Mr. Joseph Brown. The same way that I'm thinking is that, well, he could do it, but he has to have a coach, a coach trainer that coaches and train his trainer to get him to do those things. Because if he comes out the same way, it's going to be it's gonna be night time again. He's going back to sleep, or he's actually gonna go to sleep this time, unless they have seen the light and they, change up the things that he's doing. If they're not going to change up the thing that he's doing, then it's going to be a long, it's going to either be, I'm not even going to say it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a long or short night. Depends on if he cooperates. If he comes in and surprises us, which that will be a surprise. If he comes in and surprises us, I'll be surprised. But wow, look what he's doing. If not, then it's just going to be, it's just going to be like a money grab. And to be honest, I don't want to be just giving all this money away to these fighters, because they're fighting. So I'm just going to give you money because you're fighting. Nah. I want you to fight a good fight. So it's like you earn my money. You earn my 50. Or, well, 50 ain't much for a seat. Some of the seats are going for 50 on this fight coming up. But you earn my 50. You earn my 100. You earn my 200. You earn my 300. My 400. I'm not sitting on no $1,000 seats though. Just in case. And plus, I don't want none of that splatter all over me. Because I might dress decent. I don't want nobody's snot and slob and blood all over my clothes. So it is what it is on that. I appreciate you guys coming through. I really thank you. I know it was like a short notice and stuff, but I am gonna try to use this as my time slot. I got to email KQKC and see if he talked to 78 or whatever, because I'm not really official. I'm LDBC, regardless of what anybody might think. I appreciate what they're doing, and I appreciate you guys coming through. Because you didn't have to stay as long with Eagles Web Boxing, but you did. You came in and you messed with me, so I'm gonna mess with y'all. So right now, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. And of course, I always give my shout out to the LDBC, and I give my shout out for everybody who messed with me. And with that, peace. I'll see y'all on another one.